So having a YouTube channel comes with a few perks. A lot of downsides, but a few perks. One of the perks being you get hands-on with a lot of watches. Sometimes they're on loan to me from friends, sometimes from specific brands, but I am a glutton for this stuff. I don't care where they're from, just show me the watches.
Jerry, you better yell! Show me the money!
Today I want to talk about some of my favorite watches that I reviewed in 2022. Now that doesn't necessarily mean they were released this year, just watches I got hands-on with this year. In no particular order, here's my 10 favorite watches that I reviewed in 2022. Okay, I said these were in no particular order, but my number one is... This is my favorite watch I've been hands-on with this year, and I cannot stop thinking about how much I want one. The Omega Seamaster 225450 particularly surprised me because I don't really like the Seamaster, or at least the modern expression of the Seamaster. I dislike the bracelet, I dislike the skeleton hands, I don't like the date placement, and I really hate the bracelet. Yes, the bracelet deserved to be said twice. But every single problem I have with the modern Seamaster 300 is remedied in the neo-vintage Seamaster 225450. I think this is just a beautiful watch, and it's probably the watch I had the most fun filming. I will definitely be adding the 36mm variation of this to my collection one day. Okay, yeah, the Zenith Chronomaster Revival Shadow is a watch I wouldn't traditionally love. I find black on black very masculine, and it reminds me too much of boys from my hometown who like Drake too much. But I gotta say, I was very pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed this watch. Of course the specifications are good and modern, it is a modern Zenith, but it was the wearing experience that made me fall in love with this watch. At 37mm, it looks great on most wrist sizes. Here it is on my 5.5-inch wrist versus my husband's 6.5-inch wrist. Truly an enjoyable wear, and it made me want to see more Zeniths in person. So this one is a bit of cheating because I didn't technically review the Master Control this year, but I used this watch whilst talking about JLC as a brand and why they aren't as popular as they should be. You should go watch that video if you haven't seen it yet. It should appear in one of these corners if I remember to do it. Getting this one out of the safety deposit box was such a friendly reminder of how great of a watch this is. It's kinda that perfect blurring of sporty and dressy, a dress watch for someone with commitment issues. And also, it's so nice owning a JLC that isn't the Reverso. You know? Not that I would say no to a Reverso. I would actually quite like a Reverso. For me, JLC was that brand that made me think, why does everyone pine after Rolex? You can get real storied history, beautiful movements, and well-crafted watches from JLC. But I digress. So I entered the watch collecting hobby through an alternative way. My husband talking about watches an absurd amount, and finally through osmosis it transferred into me. But because of this, I kind of feel like I inherited his taste and went straight in for Swiss watch brands, and completely missed Seiko. This was the first Seiko I had ever been hands-on with, and I gotta say, I get it. I get why people love Seiko so much. I borrowed the Seiko 5 Sport from my friend Luke, and it was just such an enjoyable wear. I loved the subtle two-tone bezel, the high legibility, and I just don't know how you can argue with this 400-pound bit of joy on the wrist. I've even come around on the bracelet, which I previously had problems with. I think I should just accept I'm probably going to buy this in the new year. So if you follow my channel, you know that I have a soft spot for Nomos. I just can't think of another brand delivering in-house everything at these kinds of price points. This summer, Nomos let me borrow the Nomos Club, which is a watch I wanted to see in the flesh for so long, because I always had the hunch that I'd like it, but I just needed to see it in person. But I can say this is my favorite Nomos in the current catalog. It's fun, sporty, minimal, distinctive, just happiness on the wrist. don't hate me for this, but I like the Moonswatch. Okay? I like it. I'm perfectly aware that it's a ripoff, they are poor quality, the pushers fall off, the dies transfer, but let me live my life. These are kind of like going to a wave pool. Are they overpriced? Yes, I could go swim in the ocean for free, but it just makes me happy and I like it. I have felt so many feelings about the Moonswatch this year, so I went from loving it when it was first released, to hating them because of the hype, and then to getting hands-on with them and being really excited to pull them out. They were just so novel and kind of tacky, but like this fun kind of tacky, like Las Vegas. I enjoyed every second of filming these, and my mission to Jupiter gets a lot of wrist time, which was gifted to me from my fabulous friend Finn, who really didn't have to do that. So thank you. That's too kind. Oh, the Cartier tank must. Oh, I loved this watch. I think we all knew Cartier was going to appear somewhere on this list, but the tank isn't the usual watch that I'm always banging on about. My friend Mark let me borrow his Cartier tank must in the black, size large, and of course I was going to love it. It's a tank. It's elegant, storied, and the black is just so dramatic and bold. I just think it is a cool watch, like something a very cool person would wear and would choose. If you follow my channel, you'll know I've been on a bit of a journey with production and filming quality. I've been trying really hard to get better with the camera and capturing these watches as they are and hopefully serving them justice. But I was really worried about this tank because of its color kind of profile and getting the light on the hands in a way where you could actually see them. I knew it was going to be a challenging watch to capture, and I'm not the best with this stuff yet, but I was really proud of myself and how this one ended up looking. Oh man, so this one's really fresh on the mind. I've only just had this one in from Nomos, and it's another club. But the Nomos Club Neomatic was a really special watch to be hands-on with, and I think it's an important watch for the brand. I think the perfect way to describe this watch is as the Nomos Oyster Perpetual, the Nomos version of the go anywhere, do anything kind of watch. It has some pretty beefy specifications, so 200 meters water resistance, an automatic in-house caliber, all inside a 37mm case. But of course, the most exciting bit is the bracelet. If you go on the Nomos website, almost all their watches, if not all their watches, are sold on straps. But this one being on an oyster-style bracelet is pretty massive and getting me excited for what is to come from the brand. Okay, this is another one I didn't expect to love as much as I did. The Planet Ocean has always been a watch I had very low interest in. It's never done it for me. Crazy specifications, but it's too thick and fat and... But why? Why do I need these specs? But after spending some time with it, I am now saving up to buy myself a 39mm variation. Don't hold your breath on me getting this anytime soon. I earn comedically little. It was my friend Ben at wristworthy.uk who let me borrow this watch, which was far too kind of him. And his is the older variation, so pre-ceramic, which is my favorite era of Omega watches. Everything about this watch is just great. Great looking, great bracelet, great specifications, criminally undervalued watch. And last but not least, another Omega. Maybe I'm not the Rolex fangirl I thought I was. 'Cause this whole list is Omega. This kind of felt like a surprise release. Maybe not surprise, but it was a very quiet release from Omega. I love the design and dial layout of this watch. Sometimes dress watches can be extremely minimal, but I thought this was perfectly busy and interesting while still remaining refined. This was another watch on loan from our friend Nathan. Man, I'm just realizing how much this channel owes to friends lending me and loaning me their watches. Thank you guys so much for keeping this channel going. Anyways, I've been blathering on long enough. I just wanted to share with you guys some of my favorite watches that I've been hands-on with this year. What are some of your favorite watches that you've handled this year? I'm sure you have loads. Comment them down below. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Why aren't you subscribed? Do it now. right now. And now let's take a second to thank our fabulous Pope tier patrons who keep this channel going. Bye guys!